Woohoo, welcome. How's everyone going? It's great to see so many faces again. Awesome. That song was actually by a buddy of mine, Tayoski. He's a local Aussie musician. And see Kim's on the call. Actually, he lives just down the road from Kim on the sunny coast. And so we have, from the Positive Prime team, we have Kim Serafini, which I'm sure you're all familiar with, of course. We've got Paddy Crummer, and we got Mayumi there, who's the other Positive Prime. So we've got two there. Yeah. So welcome again. It's beautiful to see some familiar faces. I always like to start like we did last time with a breath, just to drop in. And also invite you, if you want, let's Brene Brown it up again and put in your percentage. So how are you feeling if this is your first time to the Cuppa call? Just really love to get a sense for how everyone is in the room, even though we're all in different rooms. So feel free to put your percentage into the text. Nice. Sandy, Kim, Katie, got a 60. Hopefully we could lift you up a little bit, Katie. We got ya. Same with you, Joy. You can make your own scale if you want, Jackie. So there's no rules. If you want to be 110, you can blow it out of the water. Nice. Thanks, Lucy. Welcome, first time. Yeah, that's just a nice little exercise I borrowed from the great Brene Brown, just which I use a lot of the times when I'm going into new meetings, especially with new people, because it just allows you to connect with people and sort of if there's someone who needs a little bit of help, you can send them a little message and see if there's something we can do, and that's both in the physical space and also online. I'd like to acknowledge where I am at the moment. I'm coming to you from Yugambeh country on the Gold Coast in Australia. And I'd like to acknowledge the elders past, present and emerging of the lands. My friend Tay, who you just heard, he actually lived with Indigenous folks up in the northern part of Australia for a long time. Apologies, there's a plane going over. And he writes a lot of beautiful music around the Indigenous culture and the wealth that comes with it in terms of the well being not wealth, monetary wealth, the wealth of knowledge, and which is actually interesting because that's where the word comes from. It doesn't come from being rich in the capitalist sense. It comes from being well and wellness. So how are we feeling? What's our wealth? And I guess that percentage exercise there is really an opportunity to tap into that. And I was listening to some Indigenous wisdom last night, and I always have to tell a yarn when I do my acknowledgement of country. Otherwise, my Indigenous mentor would probably be disappointed, put it that way. And I was listening to a podcast about the burning that goes on, Indigenous burning. So you probably would have seen Australia just before the pandemic kicked off. We lost a large amount of our natural habitat. 500 million animals was estimated, which was pretty heavy. And so, yeah, it's really interesting for me to be listening to these fellas who live just an hour north of me, and how they go out onto the land and they burn with the land and they talk to the land, and the land speaks back. And I think it's really important to acknowledge that when we acknowledge country, we're actually acknowledging the country because it's alive too. So and I'd love to acknowledge the Indigenous wisdom of your lands, or from wherever you come from originally. Awesome. So this session, I really want to connect you guys. I really want to have you connect with one another in some breakout rooms. So that's a big one. However, before we do that, I'd love to just hear, since we joined last time, or if you are new and you've been using the Positive Prime platform, has anything come up that you'd like to share? Is there any stories that you'd like to I can see Rob munching away. It's his first call as well. He's been sending me a bunch of stuff on how he's been using it. So yeah, I'd love to hear if anyone wants to put up their hand, go for it.
Do you want that manually or digitally?
whichever way you want. Yeah, whichever way you're feeling. I can see everyone, I think. Yeah, I've got everyone on the screen. Got the Brady Bunch view cranking. So we've got some people rolling in a bit later as well. So welcome. Hardy, do you want to jump in? Unmute yourself and...
All right, because I couldn't figure out how to do it in the participant. Anyway, I was calling my sister right before this this meeting, and I told her, I said, well, I can only talk for about 5 minutes because I'm going on a Zoom call for Positive Prime. So she wanted to know what that was. I said, well, this woman named Kim Serafini has this company. And what it is, you know, she shows what she calls Duchenne faces, people, happy expressions. And then she shows beautiful pictures. And then there's words over. So my sister's like, oh, positive thinking. I said, well, yeah, kind of, if you want to say that. She said, well, it must be working because she had talked to her sister-in-law who said that the last time I talked to her, I sounded so happy. I said, well, sometimes I am. So that was my story from right now. Thank you.
Love it.
Oh, Kim, good to see you too.
Yeah, that's beautiful. I think that's the point of, I guess, and I forgot to ask, what are we all drinking? Has everyone got a cuppa? Some people are eating, some people got, looks like some juices, some waters. We had some vinos last time, depending on where you're dialing in from. And also feel free to drop in. I'm reading a few of the comments where you're dialing in from if you like as well, because that's always nice. Maybe put in your location and what you're drinking. Yeah, drought in California, I feel you as well. Yeah. I think that's why we need Positive Prime a lot of the time with some of these things that are happening around the world. We don't know what's around the corner, and it's really helpful to have it to, you know, pick us up. From Mexico and drinking water. Nice. Regan. Lots of the States. Lots of North America. Mango dragon fruit with some psyllium husk. I just did a juice cleanse, so I know what psyllium husk is now. I didn't much like it, but I hope yours tasted better than mine. Awesome. And Mark says, out of lockdown yesterday. That's some great news. Good stuff. Melbourne. Awesome. Yeah, so I think, is it Ahadi? Is that how I pronounce it? So I'm getting that right? Beautiful. Yeah, I think those conversations are so important, and it's sometimes you kind of miss the fact that your disposition might have changed. You know, someone says, oh, you know, what's going on with you? Rob and I have actually had this conversation recently, you know, like people will reflect back to you and you go, oh, I wonder what it is. And yeah, what we're finding is, like, with the sessions and what you're learning in the sessions is how that emanates out into what you're eating and what you're drinking and how you're showing up in the world. And obviously that raises our frequency and our energy. And yeah, beautiful stuff. Has anyone else got something they would love to share? Mary Lee, jump in.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. One thing that I realized as I've been watching more and more of them is that these are real people, and I'm connecting with real people. I don't know where the pictures come from, but these are real human beings. And, you know, a lot of the pictures are, you know, it's the eye contact, to say nothing of the animals, but, and then when I started looking at mine, you know, we talked about this briefly last time of when you're watching it, you're looking for your pictures, you know, but I had that reflection that was, and it opened up my world. It kind of opens up my world in a very interesting way, because I'm not going to see all these people on the street, but now they're in my energy field. It was just very interesting reflection. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've never thought of that actually, so much. So thank you so much for bringing that up. I see all these beautiful faces, and I'm like, I don't really think about, they're actually, of course they're real people. It might be because I'm looking out for my own pictures. Maybe that's what we were talking about last time. But yeah, thanks. That's an amazing share. And I love how you kind of like tethered back to what we were talking about last time. Is there anything that someone brought up last time that you brought into your positive prime practice over the last couple of weeks?
I still love my personalized session more than anything else. I think I've been like binge watching it more frequently than sitting in front of the TV, because I'm always at my desk. So I have it open in a side window. So I just like, oh, I need to prime, turn over here. Da, 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 da.
Is it okay to share, Katie, what makes your personalized one so special?
Sure. I've got a few pictures of my husband, my son. I found one picture of me in high school that I really liked. And mostly my personal pictures are of dragons, fairies, and unicorns, because I like to take a break from reality every now and then. And they always seem to make me smile. I've got a couple hippos in there too, because hippos always look like they're smiling. And it's like my favorite animal. So I'll be watching all these great pictures of all these wonderful places, and then all of a sudden a dragon would pop up or a fairy would pop up. And it just turns it all into like a little fantasy movie kind of deal. And my son just laughs at me when he walks by and sees, what are you looking at? Oh, you're looking at your fantasy creation world again. And then he walks out and I'm like, I don't care. Go away. I want to watch my fantasy.
There's multiple things I love about that, but I think last time I yapped a lot. So does anyone else want to pick up the riff? Because this is a dialogue. So if anyone's like feeling like, oh, I'd love to jump in on a bit of chat about fairies and dragons, feel free.
Well, I don't have fairies and dragons. However, what I found really powerful about personalizing is that I have a number of pictures that are just like my life. Like I did this at this particular time, there was a picture there and stuff like that. And so some of the pictures aren't like, you know, magnificent points in my life. They're a dog that I've had or a cat that I've had. And the power of having my everyday life come up in these sessions has, I mean, there's a lot of power in that. It's like I'm bringing the sessions into my daily life because I have these everyday pictures in there. And there's an exponential raise in my energy from that. And I don't necessarily have words for it. I just found that the power and the impact of it has significantly increased by putting in just kind of those everyday pictures.
There's a term for no words as well. It's called ineffable. It's one of my favorite words. So it's when you don't have words, you just have it's more of a feeling. It's an embodiment of like, well, this is something's happening here. Sorry, Rob, I cut you off. Jump in. I know Jackie wanted to jump in as well, so just continue.
All good, Jackie, you can go.
Well, thank you, Robert, but you actually unmuted before I did, so please feel free. I got very confused for a moment between positive prime, oh, Benny over there, who's hiding his name, and I was like, wait a minute, when did he go gray? Sorry, Robert, but yeah.
All good, all good. I'm just loving what Kelly, what you were saying, because sometimes working in the coaching space, I'm in Far North Queensland, Cairns, by the way, and hi Kim and Benny and the crew. It's a lot lovely to be here. Sometimes with some of the NLP training that I've done, like neuro-linguistic programming, is that when we forget the past resources and we forget what we've accomplished, and we're so future focused, and we look at where we are right now and we're like, oh, how could I ever accomplish that? But often one of the wisdoms of coaching is remind yourself what you've done, and that gives you courage to go on. And you can do that with visualization. You can do that Tony Robbins style and put yourself back into a state and breathe and talk and move and do all that kind of stuff. But this is like such a simple way to put some of those key moments or key successes or key gifts. Like I love that, Kim, that put some images of gifts that people have given you. It reminds you of the generosity and the care and the love that's around, and the special stuff. So I think the more we can remind ourselves, not just all the good stuff that's ahead of us and be aspirational, but also, yeah, remind us of, yeah, maybe the image of us as a kid running down the beach, or that thing that we did that maybe we stopped doing. I don't know. So yeah, it's really good to build those resources in, just to remind yourself like who you are, what you've accomplished, especially if it was a struggle. So I've been using that a lot lately. And my favorite one is Jackie, my partner, and I, we went to the Gold Coast and we did the indoor skydiving. And there's a beautiful image of her with a massive smiley face, with the wind kind of pushing her cheeks up, fully spread eagle. And every time that comes up, it just makes my day, because that's my lady and she's having a rad time. And happy lady, happy man, So yeah, thank you so much. And feel free to grab the riff, anyone.
I'm going to tag in, because jumping out of an airplane is like on my bucket list. It's on my list of things I want to do. I have interviewed people and I've had students who've done the tandem jumping, and I haven't done it yet. So it's on my list. So I might have to get some pictures from people who've done it. So now you've inspired me, because I've been struggling. What do I want in my life that I could find pictures of to put in? So I've actually got one of my sons-in-law creating an image of me on the front cover of Psychology Today with the heading, "The Talk That's Changing How We Talk About Suicide Prevention." So my picture, that headline, that's where I'm aiming for, is to actually change that narrative in that community, even though I don't have the psychological credentials, but I want to shift that world, because I think their idea of suicide prevention is like intervention only, reactive, not proactive. And I want to change that dynamic. So I'm getting that image created for me to put in. And so, yeah, photoshopping myself. Actually, he's actually creating this whole thing. And Katie is teaching him how to do these kinds of things. So I'm very blessed to have these people in my world, because I would never have thought of that if it hadn't been for this community. And I don't know what else I want in my life, but now I remember, Robert, I want to go and jump out of an airplane. I was jumping out of paratrooper training. My dad was a paratrooper. So I was jumping off of the towers. The original zip lines were the training towers for paratroopers. You'd climb up the tower with this harness and you'd hook in, and they'd pretend you were jumping out of an airplane and you'd zip line down. That's how zip lines got invented. I was doing that when I was 4, and now I want to jump out of an airplane. So I'm going to get an image of that, something. So there we go. Thank you.
Should I be worried when I bring Austin to visit you, Mom?
You should be very, very worried. This is the same kid that I took zip lining and climbing in trees the last time you were here. And I took him and we, rode horses in the water. Yeah. So what? You worried? Why?
No, because Austin's going to do it anyways.
I like to think there's a link between the magic, what you were talking about, the putting in dragons and all this kind of stuff, and then actually the Photoshop stuff, because it's depending on what wisdom traditions that you look into, and with mine, I was talking about Indigenous land here, and I really love looking back into where I'm from, which is Britain, around Britain, like Ireland, England, and the connection to land traditions then. And obviously in Ireland they have the pixies and all sorts of stuff, and some of them are nice and some of them aren't so nice, and they teach us lots of lessons. And I'd love for people to, and I've spoken to Linda about this as well, about thinking back about your heritage and like how does that influence where we're at today. And I feel like with connection to the land and connection to being healthier humans, it can come from us exploring those things. And why don't we just put these into our sessions? like if we're exploring and give ourselves permission to go, maybe the dragons were real at some point, maybe that, you know, mythology is this beautiful thing where, and my favorite definition is like, it's not so much that there was giants and all these things. It's more the fact that the messages that live behind these stories are really important for us going forward. And so that's what I love to, and so by having those imprinted into your sessions, the mythology is leaning into like potentially the future that you'd like to create, even if the dragons don't come back or whatever. So that was just a little bit of something I wanted to drop in there.
I have something to drop in too, because I
Awesome.
really liked this idea of pictures. So you mentioned, Jackie, about, hey, a picture of skydiving, and somebody who was in our community now skydiving, so we're dropping out of a plane. So maybe in our Facebook group or in one of our community places, we could say, does anyone have a picture of themselves doing something or experiencing something? Because that would build community, and we would be able to see each other rather than an image that we might pull from some other generic place. Even if we're all people and we care about each other, even if we don't know the person, what if we picked up a picture of somebody we did know, as a way to enhance our sessions and our community? So that's something to think about.
May I say something?
Go for it, Jane.
Hello. I've even noticed the photos I put in of like my boyfriend or even my ex-husband and my kids or friends, just like with the smiles that are so genuine. I noticed their lives shifting too, and they're not even doing it. They're not the ones watching it every day. But when you look, I'm sorry, I have a really bad head cold, so it's hard to breathe. But when you watch it every day and you're saying like, thank you, thank you, thank you. And I always add love, 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 love. And I just feel like putting that energy, not only for our own lives, also like I see their lives shifting. And that wasn't like a conscious effort or plan, but I just noticed like things like taking off, launching exponentially for them as well, almost by default, because, you know, they're getting that quantum positive vibration also just in my pictures with what I'm doing for my life.
I want to just pipe in real quick. You know, when I watched the community one for all the people in Positive Prime, I was so moved, and it wasn't anything, you know, nobody's talking, but just, I was so moved to see all these people, these real people that are doing the same thing I'm doing. And, you know, we're still struggling with being in person. You know, we're in California now, we're talking, we got problems again, you know, where we're going to have to social distance more, you know, but that really made me feel so connected to the community that it extended what I was seeing, these strangers, and now I'm seeing people that are in the community in that one. And I really liked it. It made me feel connected.
I have to add here, Mary Lee, and it's interesting that you say this, Jane, because I do an energy healing, sending a blessing to everybody who appears in that beautiful session. It's called Loving Our Community. Will you do me a little favor, Benny? Will you let me screen share? And I'll just show everybody where you can find it. And more to the point, we actually invite our subscribers to send us a photograph of themselves. And then Mayumi puts it in there. And originally, do you know, I was the only one who ever watched this session. I didn't even think of making it available on the platform. There are so many really gorgeous human beings in our entire global community who have very special gifts and talents and skills around energy healing. And so if you are one of those kinds of people, or you know someone who's like that, perhaps you can give them a nudge and ask them maybe once a week that they go watch that session and send everybody healing, loving, divine energy. It's certainly what I do. And I know, Jane, that I've been able to create miracles for people you know, whether you call it remote Reiki or you call it something else. And I send love, and I want blessings to actually be manifest in everyone's lives. So bear with me for 1 millisecond and I will just screen share, shall I? So all you do in the actual dashboard is you might put community and just start typing and it'll come up, loving our beautiful community. And when you watch this session, it's absolutely true. The people who are featured here are Positive Prime members. And all I need to do is sit here and ask that I actually share loving kindness and blessings and well wishes and divine healing with all the people that I can see here. And yes, all the people who are here are real Positive Prime subscribers. So if you're not yet in this session, please send us support@positiveprime.com. Mayumi will double check that you're actually a subscriber, and then we'll take the attached photo that you send us and we'll upload it. And then I will continue doing my healing for you, and I invite everybody else to do the same. Mwah. That's it from me.
That's awesome. There you go. I actually didn't know about that session. So there you go. I need to get an image in there as well. Yeah, and apologies to people who are getting confused about sending messages, because I'm Positive Prime and Mayumi's Positive Prime. If you have anything, send it to us and we'll make sure that it gets to Mayumi, or it gets to me if you need to. Fix that up for next time. Tech, you know, sometimes it doesn't do exactly what you want. Speaking of which, how would you guys like to jump into, and it will do what we want, breakout rooms. How would you like to jump into some breakout rooms? Patty's going to set them up just with some really simple questions. Basically just a short introduction. And I love the question, what's lighting you up at the moment? Or because I feel like it links to what we were just talking about mythology and the fire within inside, and the fire on the land, and being able to harness it and work with it. And I think what we've been talking about here is that energy that we've been feeling after we've been watching sessions, and the energy of loved ones. And so, yeah, I'd love just to make it simple. I think if we throw in too many questions, it gets confusing, but we'll give you, Patty, how long do you want to give them? Is that an option?
Hopefully I've been successful at opening up the rooms. There are 3 people in most of the rooms, 2
Beautiful.
and a couple.
Okay.
And for one question to share together, what do you think? Is 5 minutes long enough?
Go 10 minutes. Yeah,
10?
with threes. Yeah. So, and I'll try and work the prompts. So we'll send the questions into your rooms as well. And then we'll give you, I think it'll give you a warning when there's 1 minute left, but we'll try and give you warnings to transition. Also, this is an invitation. You don't have to join, and you don't have to have your video on. This is a very chill session, so it's up to you how much you want to share or don't want to share. So, but we'd love you to if it feels good. So go for it, Patty, if you can.
Okay, I'm just moving one person because they ended up being alone in a room. So if somebody isn't in a room and I have failed in my system, just you'll stay in the main room and we'll fix you up. So don't panic if you don't land somewhere. So I'm going to open the rooms and we can have 10 minutes to talk about what's lighting you up.
Yeah, who you are and what's lighting you up.
Sounds amazing. All right. Thanks, everybody. Here goes.
Oh, hello. How is everybody?
I'm going to close all rooms.
Oh, everyone's come back. Okay, cool.
All breakout rooms will close in 57 seconds.
Oh, there you go. Welcome back, people. Got a few back already. So I think you can exit rooms early.
Huh. That's lesson number 2 for me, Benny.
That's okay. I remember when I was doing it last time, it's you do a countdown and then sometimes people just pop back in and you're like, oh, all right, cool. We'll get better.
Give us a choice.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Jane. How'd you go? Was that enough time to have a
Leave
yarn with?
breakout room. Yeah, if you just leave breakout room before the breakout closes, then you end up back in the main room. I think that's how it goes.
Mm-hmm. How'd you go? Was that enough time to have a good chat?
Yes, I thought so. We had a wonderful chat. Thank you.
Magic, cool. That's what I love to hear.
All right, I think everyone's back.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank you. And everyone participated. I love that as well. It's good to see you all back. I see lots of smiling faces. Yeah, Kim can see the same. I ran a program after the bushfires here, which was kind of a support program for people wondering what to do now, because it was a pretty crazy time back then. And in the breakout rooms, over the 120 people who did it over a set period of time, we had 3 groups, so it was about 40 in each. There was 2 people who are now dating from the breakout rooms. And so I'm not saying that's going to happen, but I just just wanted to drop that in. And that's why I think there's such importance of having like the smaller group connections and getting to meet each other. And so with that, I'd love to ask, does anyone feel comfortable sharing something that they learned, or, Sandy, put a hand up first. Go for it. Unmute.
So one of the things we talked about was sort of things that we are doing or could do before we watch a positive prime session in order to get us in a more receptive state. And so, Rob mentioned that meditation is one of the things, and then there were a couple of other things, putting yourself in a happy, positive state. One that I got from Dana Wild is tapping while you're doing your positive prime session. And so I think it would be great if we could sort of gather these ideas on how to make your positive prime session even more powerful, either things you can do before or things you can do during. Like Jackie mentioned, I think last time, that she's exercising while she's doing the positive prime session.
Yeah, I set my laptop in front of my stationary bike, so I pedal in prime.
Pedal in prime. I love that, Sandy. Thanks so much for sharing. If anyone wants to send through those things, I'm also in control of our emails as well. So I'm happy to insert those in and share them with the audience as well. And if you want your name in there, if you don't want your name in there, just let me know. And then perhaps we can have a little bit of put our heads together and figure out how we can put a database together of those things, because that would be really cool. I think when you see what we're learning here is we're being able to have a chat about how other people are interacting and getting the best out of it. And so rising tide, all ships rise kind of vibes. That's a great idea. Thanks so much for sharing. Does anyone else want to jump in? Just looking across the both screens.
I was late going into my room, but it was nice going in and talking to everyone. We got to start talking about some things from our childhood, like stories, and was talking about some of the pictures from the Russian stories that one of the, I forget your name, I'm sorry, honey, that was in our group. She was born in Russia, and it was going back and forth. And Valerie, I think, was the one who was giving the name of the characters, like Firebird and Grandfather Frost and Snowbaded. So it just came up as like a cool idea to pull some of these pictures from like our favorite storybooks when we were kids and put them in there, because, for me, it's Dr. Seuss. It just makes me smile.
Awesome. And Hadi, do you want to jump in as well?
Yes, I do. Thank you. I was very happy to find out about Jackie's passion, because that's a bit of information I would like to have in case I need to pass it on to someone.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Yeah. I think from having a lot of conversations with you all, there's so much magic within this group, and people doing so much work that the world needs, like what Jackie's doing. And so, the more we can support each other, the better. And I guess that's the point of us telling the stories of each other. So thanks for sharing that one too.
I have a
Jane?
question. Is there a database somewhere of like everybody and what everybody offers to sort of use each other first as resources for things, or share and recommend each other for things? Because you're all fantastic humans, but I don't necessarily know what anybody does, like to recommend or utilize or things like that.
We haven't actually developed a marketplace or resources. It's an awesome idea for community contributions. I think we should definitely do that via our website. Thanks, Jane. We'll take that idea on. It's interesting also because we are actually looking at a messaging system that we might be able to integrate that would allow subscribers inside the platform to actually buddy up and communicate with each other. It's actually a potential partners of ours idea, and it's their tech, but I love the idea. I love a Positive Prime subscribers buddying up. I also, because I'm a founder of a transformative technologies organization, I get to sit in the think tank for trans tech companies. I've actually seen a piece of research that's like a really sophisticated version of Facebook, but just for private communities. And so we're actually investigating that as well. It's been created by an amazing American woman who won a Fulbright scholarship, and she actually currently lives in Spain. But it was a remarkable idea and piece of tech, and she's testing it out inside really large corporates. Imagine like PricewaterhouseCoopers, one of these big professional firms, and they have their own messaging and community platform inside their own company, and it allows employees inside their own departments or cross departments to connect with each other. So Jane, I think that if we create something like that, that will allow everybody to say, hey, this is what I do. And you could actually then go and have a look. I'm looking to buy some doTERRA oils or some essential oils. And we could probably create some kind of database that's got some searching filters that allows a little bit more of a sophisticated algorithm to work to match people. We're probably 6 months away from having that, like, you know, live, but we're definitely on our way there.
Okay.
So Jane, you offered to help with that. What do you do?
Well, in addition, I mean, I'm sort of like a professional operations person who always ends up being in charge of whatever I do. But also as a human, I make art and I do energy work. So those are like me as a human, but then I also have like a professional career of like operations and development and small business, you know, systems organizing and things like that. But art and energy work is a huge component of my life. It just isn't necessarily my income generating aspects.
Not yet.
Not yet, but it's starting.
Mary
Positive
Lee.
Prime
One of the things,
blew it up. Sorry.
can you hear me?
Yeah, go Mary Lee.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead.
What we talked about that the guy that runs Mind Valley did with his employees is they brainstormed their dreams. They just did an automatic writing, and then he put everything up, and people matched up to help each other make their dreams come true. And I think that would be a fabulous thing for us to do, because we came up with all these different fun ideas that we could do for each other, just the three people in that room. And it was fun. It was just fun. And so just an idea. I always thought it was a fabulous idea that he did.
Yeah, that is a great idea. Yeah, I met Vishen a few years ago. He's a clever fella, and yeah, we could definitely set something like that, because that's a bit more fun, and it's pretty low touch. I think if we just want to put our dreams up and share them, and we can all just look at them and see what resonates and how we can help each other step into them. I love that idea. We've got the Facebook group already. I know some people don't use Facebook. but we can have a bit of a brainstorm around how we could get that cranking. That could be something beautiful that we do in 2 weeks when we meet up again for the next session. That could be the focus of the breakout rooms, or something that we take away. So really love to continue to build on the dialogues that we're having, and feel free to jump into the Facebook group, which Kim's dropped in there, and connect with the people that you've connected with today. Feel free to continue the dialogue. We're coming up to the top of the hour. I've got, I want to mention something next week, but is there any last questions that people have? And you can send us emails offline and we'll get back to you. So is there anything, any final words from anyone? Looks pretty good. All right, awesome. So we'll meet again in a couple of weeks. So we'll keep this time slot because it feels good. I hope that works for everyone. But next week, Rob Gronbeck, who's on the call, we're feeling a real resonance after the last conversation around performance. And I guess what we've talked about tonight is about, or today, wherever you are, stacking, and how do we prime ourselves for performance. And so Rob and myself put our heads together, and we're going to run a session next week. You might have already seen it. And that'll be an hour-long session. We're going to talk about how to prime for performance. So we'll talk about, and I'll let Rob have a little riff here because he's just down there and he's got so much wisdom around this stuff. But we'll really be looking at the ecosystem around positive prime, and then positive priming, like we've riffed on before, as a practice, and the breadth of that. And then how can we really consolidate that, and how can we really optimize our lives? So yeah, I'll throw to Rob.
Thanks, Benny. I think you said it pretty well. But some of the features are we'll be designing a scorecard where you can check off certain practices that we believe are going to prime you for performance, get more out of your positive prime sessions. We were talking before, creating that fertile soil. So we'll have a checklist of activities, and you can rate yourself. You know, how many of those things are you doing? And hopefully we can help you to identify some things that you're not doing, which could be helping, or maybe some things that you're doing, which maybe you're shooting yourself in the foot. And we've also got a 3D model how we think about priming. Yeah, we'd love to share that with you guys. So thank you so much, Benny, Kim, for the opportunity. Yeah, we just want to share as much as we can on how we use it and how we think about it. And it's only, you know, one person touching an elephant. You know, many other people are going to have different perspective and different ways to do it. But these are some of the ways that we found science-based, practiced. Thanks, Lucy, for the love. See you next week.
Yeah, it's an hour earlier next week, sorry. So I will send an email out to everyone here with the link because I can't grab it right now. And yeah, you'll probably see some comms coming up as well. We've got, you'll notice an article which should be going live today or tomorrow, which is Aaron O'Dowd, who's one of our members, and talking about his amazing feats that he's accomplished with Positive Prime. And so, yeah, really looking forward to getting your feedback, and we might be able to have a riff on that with him next time if he's available. So thank you very much. Or as Kim would say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. It's been beautiful to see your faces, and I love all the input, and I think these are just going to keep getting bigger, better, and brighter. So thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. So good, Benny. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Ciao.